Hello and welcome to another edition of the GSMC Sports Podcast, presented to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host on the weekends, Jake Daley, joined by my co-host, good friend, Mehrob Fatemi. How are we doing tonight?
Doing amazing, Jake. How are you, man?
Oh, wonderful. Can't complain. Got to the end of another week, so that's always a good thing. But we've got not a bad day for some sports in this world on this weekend, on this Saturday, June 14th. Gonna go over Game 4 of the NBA Finals, obviously a big-time matchup there in the world of basketball. We're also going to talk a little bit about NFL. Going to get into the Cincinnati Bengals and Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick, holding out right now, not reporting to minicamp. Going to get into what's going on there. And we're also going to dive into the NHL. Talk about the Stanley Cup and what's been an incredible series so far. Gonna preview that Game 5 tonight. But first, before I dive into anything else, I just want to remind everybody that this show, it's all about you. We love hearing your comments, your questions, your insights, your opinions, your hot takes, whatever you got. We want to hear it. We want to make this show as interactive, as exciting as possible. Now, one easy way to do that, if you're on YouTube, you can use the Super Chat feature. To use the Super Chat feature, all you have to do is click the $ at the bottom of the chat box, type in your message there, send that in. This guarantees that your message gets on the air, gets read live, and it's also just a great way to support our channel. Now, if you're not on YouTube, if Super Chat's not your thing, you can also go to gsmcpodcast.net to tip or donate there at that link. Again, that is gsmcpodcast.net. Now, let's get into the biggest story, I think, of today in the NBA Finals, Game 4 last night. An incredible game and kind of a different game that I think we've seen from this series. Oklahoma City, the ones to erase a 10-point deficit in the second half and come back. Mehrob, what did you kind of think from this Game 4? What was your reactions? And just anything you kind of thought stood out.
Yeah, what a game we saw last night, Jake. Really, if there was a game that we could mark so far through 4 games in this series, this was the best game of the series so far, hands down. And if every game is going to be like that or better, we are in for a crazy, at least, or in my estimation, 3 games left, because I don't know about you, Jake, but this feels like a 7-game series now. The Thunder coming away with a crucial win in Indiana, 111-104, the final score, and erasing that 10-point deficit. It really looked like the Pacers were cruising to that win last night, going into the halftime with a 3-point lead, and then that third quarter where they kind of exploded. It looked like they had everything under control throughout this one. But with 9 minutes left in the game, the Thunder needing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to step up in a big way. SGA with all the pressure on him, and honestly, it felt like this series was starting to take a turn in the same way 2 years ago or last year when we saw the Dallas Mavericks take out the Oklahoma City Thunder, when we saw Luka start taking over in that Game 4, and SGA starting to crumble. Was this going to be a repeat of that? And SGA said no. SGA coming alive in the last 6 minutes of this game, going off for 8 points in the last 6 minutes, hitting a clutch 3, a couple clutch buckets, getting to the free throw line big time. He came alive, finishing with 35 points. Jalen Williams by himself also putting in another 27. Caruso being the first player in NBA history to have multiple 20-point games after having 0 in the regular season. 0, the first person in NBA history. And he's been phenomenal throughout this series. He's a big reason why Oklahoma City won this game last night. Did I mention Chet Holmgren had a double-double with 14 and 15? The guy that we said had to step up in a big way, showed up and showed out. This was a team win for the Thunder, and honestly, this could be this win last night for the Thunder could shift the entire series, because what would have been a 3-1 lead for Indiana going back to OKC is now a 2-2 series going back to OKC. And when teams win every team that wins Game 5 wins 4 out of 5 times in most series. This is 2 teams that haven't been here before, and this is going to be a massive Game 5.
Yeah, I think one of the kind of interesting things that you brought up is almost how the Pacers kind of gave away this game, right? We saw Oklahoma City almost steal it right at the end. Almost kind of inverse of what happened in game one, where Indiana stole that game from the Thunder on their home court. I just think it's kind of interesting where we've kind of seen normally it's been the Pacers that have kind of clawed back from these double digit deficits and been able to just somehow find a way to win. But this game, it was Oklahoma City. 3 for 17 from the 3-point line. Had more turnovers than they had assists in this game, yet they were still able to win. What do you think that kind of says for the rest of this series going forward right now? Do you think it's Oklahoma City's just to run away with it?
I really do. I think this is now OKC's series to lose. I keep feeling like I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Whoa. Just got a tickle in my nose.
Yeah, it's all
But
right. It's the
for this
weekend.
series,
We're a little more laid back on the weekend crew here.
we're hanging out. We're doing it. We're going with it. Excuse me. I'm sneezing a lot. I got allergies going. Something's going crazy in my nose. But when we're talking about this series right now, it really feels like this is OKC's series to lose. They have Game 5 on their home court. They're going to be heavily favored to win. This is their series. If they win Game 5, like I said, 4 out of 9, 8 out of 10 times, 4 out of 5 times, teams win. Whoever wins Game 5 wins this series. And the way that OKC's been winning these games have been much more dominant, it feels like, than the way Indiana has. Indiana stealing Game 1. Game 3, they kind of had to. It felt like Indiana was going to win this game. If there was a game that Indiana was going to win, it felt like it was going to be Game 3. But Game 2, Aaron Wiggins came alive and the Thunder dominated. Game 4, the Thunder steal. And that's why I'm saying this game last night was so crucial, because the way that Indiana was playing, it literally just felt like OKC flipped the script on them. So this is their series to lose. They have home court advantage once again. Game 5, if it goes to a Game 7, it will be once again in OKC. Indiana has to win this game in Game 5. They have to win on Monday night if they want to have a chance. And even then, do not count OKC out of it. I still think this is OKC's series to win.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of valid points here. I don't know if Indiana's going to go away that quietly. And this was a really interesting game where in the fourth quarter, everything that could go wrong went wrong. We saw them go 5 of 18 from the field, miss all 8 of their 3-point attempts, couldn't rebound. Pascal Siakam, who was their leading scorer throughout the game, couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter. Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nemhard, 1 of 7 in the fourth quarter. Only Tyrese Halliburton. That's kind of been his quarter, right? The fourth quarter. Only him kind of did something okay in the fourth quarter for Indiana. I just think that shows how much it changed from the beginning of this game to the end. And it's going to be interesting if Indiana's going to be able to get back any momentum. They're going to have to go on the road to Oklahoma City. And this Thunder team, they're really, really good. We say it a lot, but they're the best team in the NBA, I think, from top to bottom. From what they've done this entire regular season into the postseason. I think an interesting parallel was from their Denver series, right? Similar thing happened in Game 4 of that series, where they were down, could have gone down 3-1, but able to climb back in the fourth quarter, tie that series up 2-2, and really change the momentum there. Is this something similar where Oklahoma City is going to be able to capitalize on this and just take it and run with it?
I definitely wouldn't be shocked. That's honestly an amazing parallel. If we're looking as a whole right now, this is just an incredible series as a whole from all of these guys. I'm gonna shut my camera off before something nasty happens. Sorry, I just had to clean my nose up really quick before that just dripped all over the camera. Nobody wants to see that. I know. But when we're
We
looking
are
at this right
struggling
now,
on this Saturday today here with the.
I'm all over the place. This is the craziest intro to any show I've ever done ever. So I'm sorry to all the viewers, but when we're looking at this right now, that was an unbelievable parallel. OKC kind of stole that game for, and they were in a similar situation. They reclaimed home court advantage, being down 2-1, could have been down 3-1, and then somehow that game 4 kind of turned the series around for them. I could see something really similar happening here. And Indiana, that's why I'm saying Indiana kind of shot themselves in the foot. Them not being able to make a shot in that fourth quarter was huge. SGA was everywhere. Miles Turner, this was something that I noticed as well. Miles Turner kind of got into foul trouble late in this game, and OKC started to go after that big time. When that kind of stuff happens, I mean, those are recipes for disaster. Not only for that's a recipe for disaster for Indiana, but anything that happens like that. Say that happens to a Chet Holmgren, Indiana's going to attack that every time. These are little simple mistakes that end up being an entire difference to games. So, as a whole, yeah, I think this is going to be OKC. I'm probably leaning towards OKC winning this series now. As much as I think Indiana can put up a fight, and I think they will, it's going to need to be something heroic from Tyrese Halliburton. If Nikola Jokic can't do it, I mean, we need Tyrese Halliburton to show up in a big way if Indiana wants to have a chance here.
Yeah, you brought up free throws and just kind of getting into foul trouble. That was a big storyline here, was Oklahoma City being able to get to the free throw line and make their free throws, going 34 of 38 from the stripe, whereas the Pacers were 25 of 33. Still got to the line, but just weren't as efficient and didn't get there as much as the Thunder. I think that is kind of a big storyline here. And then also just the presence of the other two in that Oklahoma City Big Three, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, to kind of be able to really, really step up in this game. Jalen Williams, most of his damage coming at the start of this game, but putting in 27 points, 8 of 18 from the field, 11 of 11 from the free throw line. I think that was huge. And then you mentioned Chet Holmgren as well, really kind of upping his game despite rolling his ankle. It seemed like at least once throughout the game yesterday, still having 14 points and 15 rebounds. I think those two guys stepping up and giving the Thunder a supplementary option besides SGA was huge in this game.
Most definitely. There was a big reason why the Thunder won this game. And it just felt like Indiana, what could go wrong for Indiana went wrong. And OKC really just flipped that script on them. Being able to come back in a big way like that in the final minutes. If they can continue to do that, that was the one part of this series that I thought Indiana would attack. I thought their clutch minutes would be Indiana. That would be Indiana's moment to come back and win close games. Any close game, when we were previewing this, I said that in any close games and clutch moments, I'm picking Indiana to win those games. For OKC to kind of flip that script and do it themselves, you got to hand it to SGA. This was a big moment for him. This was a turning point in his career, I would say. And this last night was a career-defining moment for him, because those are one of those moments that even if OKC lost that game, you would turn to him and say, "You did your thing, man. That was not your fault. Indiana was just better, and they squeezed out a win and escaped with that win." But for it to flip, Indiana going ice cold in that fourth quarter, like you said, 5 of 18 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. That's pretty much unheard of from this Indiana Pacers team with the way that they're able to shoot the ball. But I also think it ties back to the Oklahoma City Thunder, their ability to play defense. Alex Caruso has been an absolute X factor in this series. Jalen Williams has played phenomenal. SGA was playing phenomenal defense. You saw Andrew Nembhard tried to shake SGA the same way he did in Game 1, hitting that fall-away 3. He tried to hit a fall-away jumper in the same way, And it didn't work this time. Why? Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played phenomenal defense in that moment. Those are little moments that are, especially in this series with how close everything is, those are difference makers. And the last thing I want to say, Alex Caruso with 5 steals last night. 5. If that can keep up, that tells the story right there. Holding Tyrese Halliburton to 18 points, having 5 steals in the game. It's a phenomenal defensive game, and this is why Oklahoma City's defense is renowned as one of the best in NBA history. Some people call it crazy, but just watch last night's game.
Certainly a storyline to follow going into Game 5 in Oklahoma City. Right now, we're going to take a short break on our show. When we come back, we're going to switch gears to the world of the gridiron and the NFL. Right? Stick around with us, though, and we'll be back on the GSMC Sports Podcast.